It's just something I've been doing. So 198.
I watch a lot of movies and they do that.
For real. Damn, I feel like I got 2 guests on with me now. Because Jacob.
I miss a few episodes and now I'm a guest.
You gotta provide for your kids.
It's like I'm a rare
commodity.
breed out here.
Something like that.
Kids have to provide for.
Good. So
I
here
got
we
no- I ain't
are.
got no babies.
198.
You know. You know these things.
Damn, we can't both put arms in.
I'm not gonna. I'll just mess with you.
What's up, guys? Jacob, it's been a while since you've been here. Zach,
Hey,
it's
everybody.
been a year, almost to the day since you've been here. So
It's been a while.
it's been fun.
We've
How's
been
everybody been?
We've been learning about investments. You know.
Have you?
No, I'm just kidding.
I was about to say, damn.
Zach hasn't been around long enough.
But yeah, here we are. How's everybody been doing? Good?
Doing pretty good.
Busy, man. Staying busy.
Yeah.
Life updates, anyone?
Working my ass off.
Jacob, I'm sure the audience would like to hear from you a little bit before we get into it.
Nah, we'll get to me later. Anyway, Zach, how you been doing?
All right, well.
Just staying busy, man. I mean, I know the last time I was on here a year ago, I mean, not much has changed, so just.
Right. Surprised, like shitty that it hasn't changed. There's still the same shit going on.
Yeah, in the world, man. But yeah, just staying busy and just really just keeping low key and. Is this not on?
The other side is the hot spot.
Ah, shit.
We can still hear you, but
Yeah,
but yeah. So
Oh, dude, sorry.
I mean, kind of. I guess we'll go off of kind of what we were talking about last episode. This is an election year this year. We're in the thick of the presidential election race, and we just had a debate. Last week, 2 weeks ago, something like that. I mean, it's not really.
I feel like
no.
that was just
They call it a debate,
that was
but
an
not
event
really.
to make us feel dumb.
Not really. I mean,
It didn't make us feel dumb, but it's just like watching it, you felt like you lost a couple brain cells.
yeah. I mean, I only watched about like 10 minutes of it, if I'm being honest.
The United States is my favorite reality TV show. And I think it's beating The Simpsons right now as far as airing. So,
Yeah,
we're
no, that
going
shit.
strong.
I mean, I think the thing that got me the most is that like nobody was answering any questions.
No, it was more just like attacking each other from each front. But I also feel like it was, I mean, and this has been said on different networks as well, that it was like kind of like a 2v1 versus Trump.
Well,
Like,
I mean, 3. I mean, yeah, it was definitely, and I'm, again, people know if you watch the show, I'm very, in the middle. I don't really have a lot of stock invested in politics, but I keep myself informed. But it did seem like it was set up to make Donald Trump look dumb and like to prove the narratives right, which I feel like he could do that on his own. So I don't really think you need
he doesn't help his case.
Yeah, I don't think you need a
things.
debate stage to do that. I felt like it would have been in the Democratic Party's best interest to just actually have a debate and answer questions and
Yeah, I feel like it
reassure more than anything. And I feel like they just kind of reassured in the wrong way, in the sense of like
That they don't know what the fuck they're talking about either.
well, that, and also that, we're just trying to make this guy look dumb. I mean, to me, it seems like Donald Trump is not a career politician. He's an outsider. A big thing is that he came in trying to drain the swamp. That was his first, when he first came around and all that, trying to get career politicians out, kind of exposing what politics is in this country. And once the career politicians and the blue bloods of that started realizing that, they're like, oh, well, we need to band together as career politicians and get this guy out by any means. Right. Now, again, Donald Trump does it on his own by some of the things he say, his antics, things like that.
He's unfiltered at times.
But exactly. But I think the bigger picture is, they're trying to keep the power within themselves, keep the, the common, citizen, the 9-to-5 people, all that shit where they're at, and keep
it
the
within
same.
the elites.
Exactly. So I think that's what the bigger picture was for me. And that's why I can never get behind people who are so gun ho for one side or the other. Cause it's they're both correct. They don't give a fuck about us at least.
Dude, politics is very much like boxing. And what I mean by that is I'll use Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor, for example. There was months of build up of them hating each other, making fun of each other, and after they cashed out, there was pictures of them on a plane together, hanging out, laughing, this and the other. And politics are the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I mean, everyone's rubbing elbows with everyone.
Yeah. And because you look at things like for example, when Bush was president, everyone attacked him. Democrats, everything like that. And now he hangs out with the very Democrats that attacked him. I'm sorry, man, but if someone tore my family apart like that for years upon years, I'm not going to hang out with them.
Nah.
And if you look at politics, man,
it's on site.
Yes, and it's both sides, man. If you look at it, the same families have had such a foothold in politics, whether it be the Kennedys, the Bushes, the Obamas, is that new one,
The Clintons.
And all that.
Been there
like you
for
said, and I'm not going to trash.
I mean, even
any of them.
Biden, for instance, Biden's been in politics for what?
40 years, 40 plus years.
And his family members have had their roles in foreign politics and like in other countries and all that shit. So, and guess what? That's both parties.
Yeah, and I think that's my biggest issue with like.
And that's my biggest issue with politics, period. Because I mean, as the founding fathers, politicians were never supposed to be politicians. Like how our system was set up to be was people had like normal professions and then would come into a role of presidency voted amongst their peers as like, say you're an amazing doctor. Okay, well, you run the nation for 4 years.
Yeah.
Give it your expertise and your knowledge from your, from your field, but you're now running the whole nation. And then once you're done, you go back to whatever you were.
Yeah.
Like if you were a doctor, all right, you're the president now, 4 years, boom, now you're a doctor again.
Yeah.
Versus nowadays, it's like you said, career politicians. These people are like, they're almost bred to be this.
Yeah.
The same way we watch, football from the high school level, college level, then now they're pros. Politicians are kind of bred that same way. It's like, oh, you're born in this family. You're going to be a politician someday. You got to watch what you say. You got to look a certain way. You have to, check all these boxes.
Yeah.
And boom, once you're done with that, you're going to have a seat at the table for the next 30, 40 years because that's what a lot of these politicians have done.
And I was literally just about to use that analogy that it does seem like that nowadays, like
they're bred for it.
You find, you get a kid and you find what they're good at a young age and you put them in, an academy, whether it's basketball or you get them in that specialized field young so then they can start learning these things. Like you said, it's becoming this start the same thing in politics. Like they'll start, if you're in that family or in that type of, in that circle, they'll, find you at a young age, they'll pick out certain traits, characteristics and like, oh, this, is going to
align they got you
with
on the debate team very young.
Shit like that.
They're training you. They're training you.
For real.
And it's subliminal things like even a kid probably won't realize, but they're being trained to be, bent into a certain way, like, oh, this is the politics or this is the policies you're gonna adapt one day. This is what you should believe in,
it's a
and shit like that.
Fucked up game. That's the thing about it. Like
Pulling
again,
wool
like,
over the kid's ass.
Yeah, that's like again, and that's like my biggest point. Like when I talk to anybody, whether they're left, right, Democrat, Republican, like whatever side they're on, like since I don't care, I'll just play devil's advocate and just kind of like bring up points from the other side, and like. I'm not saying that one side is more right than the other, but my take is that like they're both doing the same thing, just in different ways.
Yeah.
So like why I'm not saying you can't vote one way or the other because it aligns more with what you believe, but like to be like all super gun ho and like having signs in your yard and running flags off of your truck and shit, that's when it's just like, all right, like a little bit.
Even if I agree with a politician, I'm not gonna fly you on my shit.
Correct.
Right.
I'm not repping you as like, oh, look at me,
like you're my favorite football team
like,
or some shit like that.
I mean, and that is some diehard, for instance, Trump supporters. Trump supporters will have flags. They'll have like
weird.
impeach Biden.
It's fucking weird.
They'll be like, all right, like I understand how you feel, but
I mean, it's the same thing with people that are like
the same way with Biden and Harris.
Well,
like,
the one that the people that think that Kamala is like the savior, and it's like, well, no, not really. Like, it's a little bit different. And
her campaign, low key, her campaign slogan is kind of like a capitalism fucking campaign slogan. I'll look it up. Y'all can keep talking.
Yeah, but
I'll show you what I'm. show you what I'm talking about.
It just doesn't make sense because it's again like they're doing a lot of the same shit that they've been doing that people have been complaining for what 40, 50, 60 years. But that's what we want to go back to because that's what's going to save us and bring us to the promised land.
That's what's funny, man. Is like people that say like, "Oh, I'm gonna fix it this time." It's like, motherfucker, you've been in here for at least a decade, if not longer.
Right.
Why is it this time? Like, dude, that's like being in a relationship and like me cheating on someone over and be like, babe, I'm not going to cheat on you. It's going to be different next time. I know I've done it for 5 years straight, but I woke up today and I was like, you know what? This is wrong.
I had an
I'm not gonna
epiphany.
do it anymore. And if I do it again, then you just have to believe me that after that time, it's going to be different. I promise.
And that's like I got into an argument a couple weeks ago, and that was one of the points that I brought up is like, listen, I'm not even saying that like one is better than the other. I'm just saying that you guys want me to start believing in a system that you guys have been telling me has been corrupt forever. But now you want me to start believing in that shit and like believe that that's going to be what's going to take us to the promised land. It's like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like it doesn't pan out.
And to go along with like politics and how you said everything was bread and stuff like that. And I think a big deal with politics too, and it's for red and blue, is super PACs. Super PACs, like, for example, like the fucking House Speaker, he took a $550,000 donation from an Israeli super PAC, and which just happened, then his like stock portfolio blew up with defense contractors, and then, you know, shit like that. But it's tied to like the military complex of Israel, and you're taking a super PAC, and it's like, so you don't think that his policy is going to be swayed in any kind of way. That's with anything, man. That's
Yeah.
It's like
Facebook or
follow the money.
or anything like that. Like everyone's bought and paid for. You know, I forgot who said it, but it was funny. Oh, I think Robin Williams said it. He's like, man, politicians should wear jackets like NASCAR so we know who they're bought and paid for.
Yeah.
Get their
I'm like,
sponsors on the
okay.
fucking cars.
Yeah.
That,
That would be
Listen.
insightful.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that gets me even more is that like even people who are like smart and like intellectual and have common sense and things like that are falling for these same tricks that have been
falling
going.
victim.
Yeah, and it just like it doesn't make sense to me. It's like how can we sit down and have a conversation about life and like the future and how things are gonna go, and like you just, you know, opening my mind, but then we talk about politics and you just like
Are so close-minded about it.
It blows my mind.
I have a theory about big ideas like that, and I think it's because people don't want to realize that the highest governing body doesn't give a fuck about them. Because
it's a sad reality.
It creates a sense of hopelessness, and it can be politics. It could be a monetary system, like the U.S. dollar. People are like, "Fuck your U.S. dollar, it's gonna last forever." No, it's not.
No,
and
nothing
it's the
does.
same thing with religion. People are like, "No, I think, you know, there are some people that fully believe God exists, or however you feel." But I think a lot of people also get into religion because they're like, it's the fear of, well, I don't want to believe that when I'm dead. It's like getting anesthesia. It's just
nothing happens.
right?
Yeah.
And politics are the same way. Like it is a hard pill to swallow that like this entity that's supposed to have your best interest at heart, in reality doesn't give a fuck about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why a lot of people get stuck to it. Like you said, like, for example, Democrat, Republicans, dude, there's engineers, astrophysicists, all that stuff that do lean to one part or the other. But it's like you have all this knowledge, and then like you said, whenever you go back to politics, it's like when people drive in the fucking rain, you just automatically forget how to drive.
For real.
It's like, no, dude,
It's
like,
a great Florida
like,
reference.
You guys were on it. You guys use your critical thinking for 95% of your life, and then come election year, it's like, damn, dude, how many concussions did you have in this? You forgot every kind of critical thinking skill you ever had.
Yep.
Yeah, it really is like, I think that's what pisses me off the
forget how
most
to do
more than
everything.
anything. I think that's what like grinds my gears more than anything is that like, bro, like I know you're smart. Like I know that like there's a brain in there. Like why is it? And the thing is that like a lot of people, like for me at least, I think the best analogy is from between like politics and religion. Like they're one and the same. Like people want to hate on Bible thumpers and like, oh my gosh, like you're stuffing your religious
They're one
agenda.
and the same though.
It is because
basis of
people
control
will
system.
blindly follow things. People will and you can find people that will blindly follow religion, and I have nothing against religion. I feel like you need to have some type of, whether it's religious or spiritual, I feel like you need to have some type of faith in your life, because if not, like Zach said, that shit gets real bleak real fucking quick. But the same thing with politics is that people will start following politics, like again, and this is something more personal to me. Like I know somebody who is very against religion, but is like thinking that politics is going to be the savior of the world and going to make everything right, when it's like, how can that be when people are innately corrupt? Like you can start with good intentions, but once you get too big, once once people start seeing the influence and the impact that you're having, they're going to try and start influencing you, whether it's with money or with bribing you, or,
power.
we'll give you this, or with power,
money
but
or-
things
money
like
or
that.
power.
But that's
you
just
get to look through history, and that's where I was gonna say earlier when we were talking about it, follow the money, you will find the trail. You'll like.
It's with everything.
If you follow the money, like Zach was saying, these people are having, donations from foreign entities, or, people like, oh, all of a sudden coming out of the woodworks to back them.
Yeah.
Where is that money coming from? You follow the money, you'll find exactly like how corrupt these people are. But there's, especially in
sucks.
the U.S. and like how money
yeah.
and companies and everything else, like there's a lot of ways to have shell companies and have, shit hidden that a lot of people won't realize. Oh, these people are being funded by, someone in China or someone in Russia or someone in Ukraine, someone in Israel. Like,
it's not even that though. A lot of these super PACs are American-based companies that put together like Clean Energy or a military complex like Lockheed Martin and Raytheon. They have their own super PAC they're involved in. All these green companies, they have their own super PAC. And it's not a fucking surprise that whenever a Republican gets in, guess what? You're going to have a lot of deregulation and you're going to have a big military spending. Yep. And it's not a surprise that when a Democrat gets in, you have green energy policies, and then usually globalization efforts are higher because they want to bring an even playing field.
Bring the mic up to you a little bit closer. Yeah, sorry.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm hearing it. It's hearing, but it's more clear. Yeah.
And then like going off that again is like, have you seen, and I mean, this is kind of shifting a little from politics, but still in it. I'm sure you both have seen like some people saying like, I mean, I know Kamala Harris has said it. I know Bill Gates has said it, like certain things with like vaccines and the world population and all that on like how we're going to fix those issues.
But like issues in what sense? Like as far as world population? Because I have my own fucking opinions on that.
Yeah, correct. And I don't know if it's necessarily a conspiracy theory or like this is real that it's been said this way, but like I'm pretty damn positive that Bill Gates has gone on a TED Talk and has said verbatim, like with the, modifications in vaccines, we can get the world population to come down a little bit. Like,
okay. And
I think the elites are low key trying to just kill off the, average Joes.
Of course, because it's more money for them. But
it's not only more money, but like they influence so much. Like they can control. For instance, Bill Gates has apples that are being sold in grocery stores now.
Yeah.
That aren't even fucking real apples. They're just genetically modified things that look like apples. That might be part of the problem right there.
Bro, I was just talking about that the other day too, bro. Because like, I personally think that as far as like the human race, like we're almost at the cap of what the Earth can hold as far as people. Like, if you think about like,
I kind of disagree with that.
And I do get met with a lot of
I feel like we can
pushback on that. I think
in other areas,
but I just think if like from the way that I see it is like if you view like a deer that is the same like size, as far as like the space that they take up and things like that, like weight, things like that. Yeah. They're overpopulated and they're not even anywhere close to being 8 billion overpopulated. You know what I mean? Yeah, so like
the thing is they're only overpopulated in urban areas.
I was about to say that.
All right.
If you ever been in North Dakota, Wyoming, good luck finding a neighbor, dude.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's why I had to agree with Zach. Like, if you travel, even the U.S., for example, if you travel the U.S., if you're just driving, you will hit 40, 50, 100 miles where you don't see shit.
You've done cross-country trips.
Yeah, I've done cross-country trips 3 or 4 times now.
Yeah.
Like, you ain't seeing shit. There's no neighborhood every fucking, 2 feet. There's no house 6 feet away from another house. Like, and that's why I think, like, urban populations, yes, there's a lot of people, but it's density in certain areas. There's a lot of land throughout not only the U.S., but think about how much land Russia has. Think about how much land.
But a lot of that land is uninhabitable in Russia because of like the temperatures and colds like that.
Right? Yeah, it might be uninhabitable right now, but imagine like all the modifications and all the technology we have in today's world. Like you can definitely inhabit any kind of location. I feel.
Look at Dubai, for example. Dubai 40 years ago.
Yeah, was a straight desert.
Was a fucking litter box.
Literally just a desert.
It was a litter box. And then guess what? They made their own ocean.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, dude. You know what this desert needs?
Water.
Let's pump some fucking 100,000 gallons
now that caused rain, which they fucked that up a couple months ago, and it caused like extreme floods.
Well, and that's kind of like, and that's where like again, kind of where. Yes, like we're able to sustain it and we have technology to, but like naturally, it's not really like we're having to make artificial stuff and we're having to bring things from outside of ecosystems to make it inhabitable and things like that. So that's where I start kind of,
fair enough.
That's where my, like, as far as like my theory, as far as like we're almost at the cap as far as human population on this world, because like we do, like, you know, we can't, you know, create weather and, you know, bring water, transfer water from different places to places that need it. And, you know, if there's mountains, we're able to carve through them, or if it's cold, we're able to, you know, create infrastructure to, you know, mitigate some of those problems. But again, it starts kind of creeping into the unnatural stuff and not letting things just happen in a natural cycle. And that's where I kind of, you know, that's where I start dabbling in that, you know, we might just be almost at that cap of our, like, you know.
That logic, though, that can be said for anything, because humans weren't supposed to have societies. We started out as nomads.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then we're like, wait a second, why are we
were
chasing
hunters and
food when
gatherers.
we can just fucking keep it here and grow?
We were hunters and gatherers,
So
and
that
then
can be
we
said about
changed
anything.
into farmers, like Zach said. And let me just put up a fence, and I don't have to hunt anymore. I'm gonna grow this thing myself. Then I'm gonna kill it when I'm hungry. And that how society works is, I mean, it grows, it evolves. You know, it's like we're supposed to be getting smarter, but yet we have the elites. We have the elites telling us one thing and getting into certain things. But I think on just like a land, I mean, I could see where you're saying that, because yes, it does get into the unnatural of like but I see both sides.
Like I said,
Humans,
yeah, like,
you know, I could understand like humans.
and
if we were to go back to our primal ways, then yes, we shouldn't be doing the things you're saying.
and like I said, just like if you're just looking, if you're just looking at it from the perspective of like just like the space that we take up, like height, weight, you know, the resources that we use. You know, if you look at any other animal that kind of like fits in that mold, you know, they're nowhere near 8 billion. The population is nowhere near.
There's no animal that fits in this mold because we kill them.
And the animals that have the cognitive ability that humans have, they don't have fucking legs, so they can't get out of the water.
Or thumbs.
So it's like yeah, man, like this dolphin's probably like, man, I'd love to use a hammer, but like it's not working, dude.
Dolphins and killer whales.
Octopus. I mean, fuck.
Probably,
they're smart as shit.
Like, dude, if a killer whale could build shit like humans, like we would be extinct.
We'd be
It'd
fucked.
like, fuck you
in
guys.
days. In days. Killer whales are something serious. The way they hunt, the way they do a lot of things. They know what the fuck they're doing.
It's fucked up. They're kind of like,
they hunt in packs because they know what the fuck they're doing.
But kind of going off, like, you know, we're sharing theories and shit like that. So,
And this isn't even being trained or anything like that.
But,
Hey, they can finally see bear on camera.
But
Hey,
kind of going back to how like
this
you were
is
saying
bear.
how like we've so technologically advanced and we're not supposed to do it. Kind of going back to like theories, how we're talking about the elites and stuff like that. I have a theory of where like the world's going, and I think there's a reason why AI is being developed and shit like that. I know I'm going off topic,
no, go ahead.
but
it's all on topic.
It's all the same.
but because
no
I
hangover.
think we are going
Buyout.
towards leverage source technology, and it's going to be the working poor. And the reason why I mean that is because AI right now makes people capable. You can have $1 billion company with like 5 people because of AI. So what it does is it replaces all the workers. So then the only jobs that would be potentially available for the workers are fucking fixing machines that are doing the work. So like, for example, like China, there's a company called JD. It's a wholesale company. It's like Alibaba's competitor.
Yeah.
And their warehouses is all run by machines, and the only humans that are employed are the mechanics to fix the machines.
Have you seen not the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory that just came out, but the one with Johnny Depp in it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the dad. He was working in a toothpaste factory. He was screwing the caps on. The machine came and replaced them, and then he ended up being the worker that fixes the machines. So I mean, your theory has been, has been out there in the world for some times now.
And like I posted on Facebook a couple weeks ago, and I was just, you know, sometimes I like to stir shit on Facebook. But this
the best place to do it.
This was like true thing. I was like, I posted. I was like, today's day and age. I don't know how like big in history you guys are, but like the Gilded Age, we have so many parallels to the Gilded Age. And what happened in the Gilded Age is that's when you saw people really embrace capitalism, industrial revolution.
Mm-hmm.
The super rich held all the wealth, and then this middle class back then got dropped down to the working poor.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the fucking Great Depression happened, that in the war, and that reset everything and reset the whole system. But like how that happened is what's happening now. It's like people back then, they were relying on archaic methods, and then the Industrial Revolution, more technology. You didn't need as much people to run a factory. Therefore, people's wages went down. They didn't need as much. They got shit rich. And the same thing is happening, except instead of a fucking cotton gin, it's AI.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie. AI kind of scares me. Like, for as helpful as it can be, I just feel like, and again, it can just kind of the trajectory that we're going as people, like, especially in this country, it's a lot about convenience. It's a lot about, you know, kind of mitigating the work and gaining as much profit as you can. Although, like, in theory, it sounds good. And yes, I'm for it. But like I feel like more people are looking to be comfortable than actually like do something for themselves, and it's gonna be the people who are actually gonna be the go-getters and the elites that are gonna see that. And you know, we're seeing it happen right now. We saw it happen during COVID, during the lockdown. Like, yeah, listen, we're the bosses here. We'll just tell you to stay in your house for 6 months and see how that works out. And a lot of people just fell in line. So like, it kind of just starts falling in, and it gets into a scary place real quick. Because, again, a lot of people don't want to have to work. A lot of people just want to be comfortable and live their lives and, you know, do all this extra shit. And it gets into a place where you just want to take the thinking out of life completely and just put it in somebody else's hands. But then when you do that, you're taking away you take away your own freedoms, your own independence subconsciously, not even realizing what you're doing until it's too late. And then, you know, there's already, you know, A, B, C laws that are in place that you can't fight against now. And there's already, you know, A, B, and C fucking
taxes.
All that shit that's in place that,
I was gonna say,
you know, at this point it's too late.
As well.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't like the way that we're going right now. It just is very scary.
They set up the school system for workers.
Yeah.
They didn't set up the school system to, you know, make entrepreneurs or make, you know, owners and businessmen and the elites. They set up school systems. Rockefellers did this way back in the day to make workers, people who fall in line the same way. Why does a prison resemble a school so freaking? It's the same fucking thing.
I'm glad you brought up. Oh, sorry, go ahead, man.
Oh, you can go off that. I mean, this shit's it's crazy how like it's so similar and people never put that two and two together. Like, oh, this is perfectly normal. Nah, they put it together that way so that people fall in line, people listen to things. And to go off your AI point real quick, yeah, it's a little scary, but I mean, it's just advances in human technology. At the end of the day, like for instance, in my line of work, AI is not going to replace. It could one day. But they have robots that lay tile. For the love of God, send them my way.
But I mean that. But the thing is that like, especially with construction work, like a lot of it is just like repetitive, monotonous work, and that is exactly what AI and machines can do without getting bored. Because like, especially for me, like
they can't do it yet. So
I mean, they can't. They can to an extent, but that's the thing. Like
those kind of labors. It's the labors that, for instance, landscaping. That can't be replaced yet.
Of course it can, bro. Of course it can.
I would love for a lawnmower to do all of it and edge everything.
In Ponce
that
Inlet,
might happen.
Have it, dude.
That might happen.
They have it in Ponce Inlet. My mom works at a marina down there, and I go and see her. So the community there, they have fucking AI.
Bro, I mean, you have to think of
that'd be dope.
Literally just about to say that. Like it really, if you just put in like the square footage of what you're trying to cut, it will just follow that and just go up and down, and you just set coordinates. I mean, listen, like again in landscaping,
someone
like
find me a robot.
You get on a riding lawnmower. So if you just take the person off and you just set the coordinates to whatever the square footage is of the area that you're going to cut or that you're going to mulch or you're going to put sod down or whatever the case may be, that, I mean, to me, it's kind of surprising that they haven't jumped on that sooner and it hasn't gone like a widespread a lot quicker, because it is a lot easier, because it's more of a numbers, like for as much as construction is exactly as much as construction is like manpower, like it has to do with a lot of numbers and math and things like that. And that just falls right in line with AI. So it just, you know, for as much as those things like.
That's that too. I'd agree with you. And like I said, the day that comes, shit, I will be a successful business owner because my robots will be everywhere. But as of right now, having to do the work is some shit.
Bro, it's fucking.
But yes,
cruel.
I mean, in reality,
cruel world out here.
In reality, yes, it's all numbers at the end of the day. Like, as much as accounting work, it's a different kind of numbers. You got to know measurements, you got to know angles, but like construction,
And it'll be more
landscaping.
precise.
I mean, they already have AI, for instance, working in factories. That's a simplistic thing that they've already are doing.
I mean, that's something that's in
Making
right
cars
now.
is
But
already
I mean,
robots,
you have to think there's already like Elon Musk. I mean, he's already done human trials on Neuralink. Like that's
Did you see the new thing that's came out?
No.
The FDA is approved.
I
I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's for people that have been blind since birth. So what it does is, so obviously, like, I mean, I'm not a fucking super genius like him, but I guess like you go blind because like your optic nerve isn't connected to whatever projects images, right? So he came out with this thing. It's like a goggles. I have to look up what it's called, but just got FDA approved 4 days ago because the trials worked. And what it does is it attaches into someone that part of their eye, and it creates images in their head, and they can see through the goggles. So it'll be able to. Not be able. It does
Basically
let people
cure
that
blindness?
Has been blind to see it, and right now it's like Atari graphics, but they're using AI and they're modifying everything. And they said that eventually people that wear this will be able to see in infrared. They'll be able to see in radar waves.
God, like it's like a fucking predator.
I was literally about to. I literally just watched Predator like not even 3 days ago. So I'm just like
years ago, dude. Even before COVID, when Elon Musk, because that dude, he looks like 50 years in the future.
Yeah.
No matter how I like him, but no matter how you feel about him, no one can deny this dude. And
Yeah, no, he's a genius.
he's a smart guy.
even before like the COVID days, I was like, this dude has the greatest shot to be a real life superhero. And I was like, this is fucking Tony Stark. And look what's happening. SpaceX, no matter how you feel about the Ukraine war, whenever their comms got knocked down, he's like, well, that's stupid. You guys want some satellites? And he just gave them internet like that.
Starlink, yeah. I mean,
What's crazy is because he literally made a cameo in Iron Man, so that's pretty funny.
It's true though.
He is the real deal. Tony Stark. He really
he's
is.
a dangerous person because he can't be blind. He doesn't give a
He is. No,
bro,
'cause
he's
he's on pace to be the first trillionaire.
Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
it's wild. And that's the thing, like with somebody like that,
He's above money.
like
No assets.
the thing that kind of keeps me
Crazy, right?
what happened?
He has no assets.
He sold all his houses. He sold all his
Yeah.
He lives in the factories. And he's just like, I'm fucking bored. So let's
Well, that's
I'm bored.
cure.
I eat a bag of chips and watch football. He's like, dude, let's just fucking. I don't like people being bored. Let's just do it.
I mean,
We're gonna
there.
take a shower. We're gonna get to it.
But that's the
There's
thing that
another
kind of keeps
conspiracy theory
me.
about football though too.
It all ties in the room.
Yeah, the Coliseums.
Yeah, but that's the thing that keeps
keep the public, they're watching
entertained and shit like that.
It's
So then
basically the same shit as
yeah.
gladiators. Keep the public entertained. They're not going to realize what the elites are doing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can
I
say
still
that
watch
about
I
football,
mean,
reality
I was gonna
TV.
say,
I mean,
it's the same shit now.
Yeah.
Entertainment, for example, is a distraction at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's all for you to, keep your eyes off of something else.
well, I mean, that was a big thing with the Colin Kaepernick stuff too, is that people were getting mad because it's like, I'm going to football to get away from all this political shit, and now I'm going to watch football and still
And
political
and
shit.
He was showing his political side.
Yeah.
Now
Which-
we got fucking pharmaceutical ads in every NFL game.
Bro, that whole Colin Kaepernick shit was fucking. I got a lot of shit from people like, because I was like, bro, he's just doing this for like, sure, he might like, there might be some like, he's trying to do good and shit like that, but at the end of the day, like, he is doing it to get money. Like, it's a money grab at this point. Like, I don't buy
Who
what
was
he's
paying
doing.
him? Who was
Nike.
Nike was paying him?
He was getting, bro. He made more money after
Wow.
that than he did in the NFL.
I was going to say, he hasn't made money in the NFL since. So
Exactly,
good for
but
him.
that's what I'm saying.
If he was
Nike
getting
was
paid
putting
for
it.
it,
My,
hey.
Nike was making him the face of a lot of
Does he
shit,
get paid like $15 million?
bro.
Damn.
Outside of football, so this was like, yes, he was a good football player. He had his little time. I never really thought that he would like. Towards the end of his football career, he was already on the decline of his career as far as like
figured out.
with the yeah, and like not again
Him
if you're
and Cam.
if you're in the NFL. Yeah, well, Cam Newton was 6'5", 250 pounds, and he
Cam
was a
was a
super
fucking beast.
athletic freak. So,
Yes.
like, he really did it to himself.
Small. Who, Cam?
Yeah, he did it to himself because he had all the tools, but, like, it just didn't, it seemed like he relied more on his talent than he did to actually, like, once you get in the NFL, you have to study. Everyone's big. Everyone's strong. Everyone's fast. You
He
have
was
to.
still bigger and stronger.
But that's
Well-
what in his career, man. He started
Yeah,
having
I
shoulder surgeries. And he's like, I'm bigger than this linebacker, but that linebacker's still gonna hit you hard.
Yeah, facts. And you know,
'Cause that's what
that
they
can only
are
last
paid
for
to
so
do.
long.
It's like,
Yeah.
take your head off.
That's
No,
how they've been training their bodies for 10, 15 years to hit people. Quarterbacks are not trained to hit
just
people.
Truck somebody.
So I mean, hey, if he wanted to play tight end or be a whatever at this point in the league, then that might have been a little different. But to play quarterback, like and this is a little off topic too, but like when people, say that Cam Newton didn't get his credit and all that, and I'm like, listen, he probably had the best college football season ever in history, in my opinion, that at least that I've witnessed. It was probably the best season that I've ever seen. But once he got into the NFL, it was too much relying on the athleticism, not relying enough on the brain, not understanding that as a quarterback, it's not really about being a super athlete. It's about being a passer of the ball.
But even that, his was it the Super Bowl season that almost every, huh? It was his MVP season. That was the same year he went to the Super Bowl.
Yep,
I thought so. Yeah. So the same year he went to the Super Bowl, I mean, that MVP season, highlights were of Cam.
Yeah, no, he's a human highlight
reel. He was jumping over. He was doing reckless shit though.
Oh yeah, because
but I loved it. But everybody loved it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing that like he's a super athlete. He could do all those things. But to be a successful quarterback in the NFL, it's not about being a super athlete. I mean, take Patrick Mahomes. You don't think if he wanted to, he could just do whatever he wanted at his we see it during the season sometimes. He gets a little reckless, but you need to tone it or hone it in a little bit, reel it in, and I know this term kind of has a negative connotation to it, but be a game manager. And then when it's time for you to shine, all right, now fucking show that arm talent. Throw it 50 yards, crossbody to the other side of the field and on a dime.
Yes.
The ultimate game manager.
The only thing that pisses me off. Stats too, dude. He did. But he only reached Drew Brees' stats because he played forever. But the only reason that Patrick Mahomes pisses me off is because
he beats the Bills every year.
Not just that. That's one reason. But also just how many he's been fucking bailed out on 17 plus defensive penalties, have called back interceptions he's thrown. That's the most in the league since 2018.
Well, listen, I sympathize with that, but I also understand.
Even last week against the Bengals, like they had, it's just the Chiefs. I mean, they're a dynasty at this point because they're just a great team.
Yeah, I mean they've won 3 and 5.
They get away with fucking murder.
Yeah, but also
on the
like
field.
if once you get to a certain stature. Yeah, once you get to a certain stature, like, you're going to get calls to go your way. That's just the nature of the game.
Oh, they do.
That's just the nature of the game. Tom Brady got calls going his way.
I think sports betting influences the game more than anything.
Oh, for sure. So, and now that it's legal, shit.
All right, now we're on to our next topic. Fucking,
now that it's legal.
I've been on Hard Rock for. I mean, you saw that was a stupid parlay. It was.
That was probably one of the dumbest parlay. He did a 12-leg parlay and betted all favorites. Like, what are you doing, dude?
Like I got waxed. But it was all house money. It was all house money.
I don't sports bet because I have the worst sports betting story in the world. I'm like, I will never bet again. So I lost like $14,000.
God. Damn, 14,000?
Dude, so you remember the Patriots?
14,000.
Yeah, dude. It was
God damn.
14,000.
There was the Super Bowl with the fucking Patriots and the Falcons. And in the fourth quarter, 7 minutes left. It was 28-7.
Oh my God.
And I got a leg. It was a straight up thing. And I think it would have doubled my money. It was a 2-for-1. Yeah, so that was the ratio. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. I was like,
that's easy money. Easy money,
dude. 7 minutes left. They're down 3 touchdowns. The freaking Falcons are on a tear. And I was like, all right, so I put it down. Oh, look, Brady scored a touchdown. Oh, he scored another touchdown. Well, that's fucking cool. He did it again. And then I'm like, and the worst part of it, too, I was fucking stoned out of my mind. So then I started having a panic attack, dude. And then during that panic attack, I'm just like, fuck. And I'm at my buddy's house, and like I don't want people to know I have a panic attack, so I go to his fucking fridge to get, dude, it's like a little espresso glass, and I was just filling it up with water, and going back, and I kept getting up and going to do it. And
they're like, what the fuck are you doing?
You can get a bigger cup. I was like, no, I can't, because I'm having a fucking panic attack right now. It was the only thing keeping me sane. But yeah, anyway,
damn.
That's why I sports bet.
Yeah, damn. I've kind of like when it first became legal in Florida, I was on it, but then I fell off of it real quick. Like I won my first like 5 bets, but then after that, I just started losing a lot.
My bets are the stock market. I feel control.
Hey,
back to the investment side.
30 minutes we're talking about how to churn ice cream.
Yep. For real, but I mean, to your point, like it is a little bit more secure because, like, I mean, we talked about this last time you were on. It's pretty, like, once you get a grasp of it, you could follow trends pretty easily.
So there's a saying that millionaires use charts and billionaires use astrology, right? And I think what I get, what
I'll
I
be damned.
grab of that is
I'll be a millionaire.
everything's in a cycle. Which, as I get older and you meet more people and you get more into the game, and that's what it is. I mean, investing's a game. 'Cause
Yeah.
at the end of the day, the more money you have, you can
control what you invest in.
realistically. I mean, maybe not Amazon, but this might be a bad example. But say someone had more money than Amazon.
Yeah.
More money than that's fluctuating through their stock. Say I was a trillionaire. I decided to open up $1 trillion short against Amazon. I could tank the stock price, but the company's still the company.
Yeah.
So that's why it's manipulated. And then whenever you look at cycles with investing, like it all is dictated by interest rates. Because whenever rates go up, guess what? Money's typically it'll still flow into equities, but there's a short-term outflow, and it gets put in like money markets because the interest rates are higher. And then when they drop, those money market interest rates go less. So then the money flows back into equities such as stocks, and that's why you see huge runs whenever the interest rates drop.
Yeah.
So once you realize that, you just follow the trend.
Yeah,
Obviously, there's little narratives in between that cause spikes and shit like that, but for the most part.
Best believe my Robin Hood's about to go crazy after this. But
And I mean, such a dirty game though. It is sad that that's like what we've come to.
It's always been like that. It's always been since 1913, man. When 1913 happened with the Federal Reserve, that was game over.
Fuck.
I mean, an interesting
Well,
thing
I mean,
to talk
really,
about
I mean,
as well. Talk
'cause I
about
think we
how we're not ever gonna see our Social Security.
Who said that? I mean, I know
What do
we're
you
not
mean, who
going.
said that?
I know we're not going to, but what made you
the
bring
way,
that up?
Just because I thought it was ironic how we pay into it every fucking month from
You
a
don't get
paycheck.
the money you back that you paid into it.
You never will.
No, but yeah, it's funny, man. Like that's why like I'm so against taxes, and people can argue with me all they want, and I'm still gonna call you a fucking idiot. But because it's like you talked about Rockefeller. One, he was a pivotal character in creating the Fed,
Yeah.
Jekyll Island, in Georgia, and him, J.P. Morgan, Andrew Carnegie, all those guys. They created the Federal Reserve. They created the tax code. When people talk about taxing billionaires, eat the rich, all it is to fucking cause chaos. Because and then at the end of the day, why I think taxes are the scam is because the taxes that are collected from the American people go to pay the interest on our debt accrued. And it's not even enough to pay it off because every year we accumulate an additional
More debt.
$1.2 to $2 trillion in interest debt.
God
Now,
damn.
on top of that, since there's no fucking money flowing in the system, what do? They print money through the Federal Reserve. So we pay taxes for literally no reason because there's
None at all. Correct. None
God
at
damn
all.
it, Zach.
And
Fuck.
then what they do
I've
is,
seen plenty of videos on this as
Yeah.
well. Like I agree with everything you're saying.
So
I'm not saying I don't disagree,
just
but
like
it just is
some of
fucking
them.
the harsh reality of
Yeah.
life.
It's yeah.
and I'll give you even a more harsh reality, and that's why I refuse to argue finance with people if they don't understand basics of it, because it's like before 1913, whenever the government wanted to print money, they would issue bonds. Those bonds were backed by gold, but they had to come to the fucking people. So if they came to us and were like, "Hey, we're gonna build a bunch of chargers for electric cars, but we need fucking $30 trillion," the people would have to be like, "Yeah, that's cool," and then the government would have to give them bonds backed by gold. After the bonds matured, they'd get back their initial investment plus interest paid out with gold. Federal Reserve didn't fucking like that because it gives power to the people. That was created. Then we were able to print money, right? But the money that was printed was still being backed by gold bonds. Then, come in 1970, Nixon was like, "Well, that's fucking stupid. How about we
Because
just..."
we ran out of gold.
And I was like, he's like, "How about we just provide countries protection, and they have to use the dollar for every trade, which is what petrodollar." And then in 1973, the petrodollar came into play. Gold was detached from bonds. So now they give you the false pretense that like, "Hey, if you buy these bonds, we'll give you interest to, for whatever the fuck they want to use that money for." But in turn, they can just print their own money anyway. So they're just taking taxes from you and
Yep.
printing money.
And then they could pay
It
it
happened
back.
in 1973. So if you look at that, and then since then, our dollars have been devalued by 99%, but yet politicians get shit rich still. Because they're just printing
Yep.
fake fiat money, which then goes along with interest rates, is why they get money because they put the fake money into assets, inflate the assets, they sell it, and they usually insure their money, which then you can pull that insurance and borrow against it for anything.
God damn.
This is
I'm depressed now.
this is and this is aside from everything that was just said, but going back in history as well. Do you know what party? Like talking about Republicans and Democrats real quick, because that just reminded me of
Okay,
something.
party if you're talking about taxes.
Yeah. You know what party, Republican or Democrats, were the Southern Party?
Democrats were.
Correct.
Yeah.
The party of the South was Democrats.
Yeah.
And yet I love how the Democratic Party has played into, they were the ones who were against slavery. They were the ones who were not against slavery. I'm sorry. They were the ones who were for slavery. Yeah. They were the ones who were against the North and like saying like, no, we want to keep our rights. And yet you go to modern day and now the Democratic Party loves to play into like, oh, we like, this is your side. If you're not Joe Biden's favorite fucking famous quote.
Oh, if you don't vote for me, you're not black.
Yeah, on the Breakfast Club.
Listen,
like, it's crazy.
Honestly, if all fucking shows to do it on too, that's
on the
wild.
Fucking Breakfast Club.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and I'm all for like, you get new information, you change your opinions. I'm all for it because that's just, that shows your, growth, you're, just as a person, I feel like, but like, I always take it with a grain of salt when it comes to politics because it's like, I don't necessarily think they're changing their views because they're trying to be better people. They're changing their views because they're trying to get your vote.
Yes.
And it's not really necessarily like
they're playing to as many people as they can.
And right now it just feels like the Democratic Party feels like they want to be on the right side of history. People who follow them or like devoutly like follow them, they feel like they want to be on the right side of history when it's like, they don't care about anybody. Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's about being on the right side of history. I feel like it's about getting it fucking right, and that will innately get you on the right side of history. And it's like, I feel like people start trying to get on their high horse, and I feel like a lot of it is like kind of like just projection of like insecurities that they have. So they feel like they're leaning more towards the party that is giving them the perception that, oh, we're here, we're good, we're trying to do right by people, we're trying to, make the world a better place, when in reality it's like, not really though. Like they're just playing the same political game that has been going on for, however long it's been going on now.
They're just playing on emotions, man. I mean, that's all, politics, even before Trump, dude. Politics is all about emotions. It's scare tactics, right? And even today, it's like people are like, oh, Republicans will, like the diehard like Trump Republicans will be like, I don't want my fucking cat and dog eaten. Like, fuck that. And then the Democrats are like, I'm not going to have a bank account if Project 2025 comes in. And it's like, yeah, so these are all hypotheticals, but like, let's talk about the policy that's going to shift the needle, which is always going to be finances, in my opinion, because when money is flowing in everyone's pocket, crime is down. And generally everyone, for the most part, unless you're a shitbag, you're pretty much good. Yeah. When money's tight, crime goes up. And then all of a sudden it's like, dude, did you hear that shoes are racist? Because it's like, what? Okay.
Oh shit. No, I mean, and I agree with that. I was talking to somebody the other day and like, we were talking about the population of, how the population of the world has been going down. Like it's on a steady decrease, but it's like, my argument to that is like, well, yeah, because the world economy is kind of in shit right now. Like if people felt like they were more, and I'm going to more specifically to this country, if people felt like their financial future was more secure, then I don't think the birth rate and the population rate would be going down because more people would be willing to go buy a house or willing. They know they can go buy groceries and provide. They know that their 9 to 5 is going to be enough to provide a family. So I don't think people would be questioning whether they want to have kids or not. I think it would be more like, yeah, well, everything's good. Like, why not have a kid or two? But since everything's down, things are expensive as shit. Housing is expensive. Groceries are expensive. Gas is expensive. It makes that thought creep into your mind. More. Like, why would I want to bring a child into this world if everything's so expensive? Like, what am I bringing them into? Which again, on the opposite side, if everything's good, if money's fine, like you said, if money's flowing, people are good, people are spending money, and have that disposable income, people are going to be more willing to have kids.
Yeah, because they know they can provide for those kids. When everyone's living, paycheck to paycheck, they're like, I don't even know how I'm going to fucking fend for myself. What do you mean bring another mouth into the equation?
I mean, like, that's why people opt out of not buying health insurance. They're like, fuck it, I'll just deal with it because at least I know I'm okay right now, and next month I'll have $400 more, whatever insurance policy would cost. But then,
I mean, it's not crazy monthly, but like, yes, I do know.
I mean, to get
I know more people than I don't know that don't have.
To get good health insurance, though, like you can get health insurance and it really still doesn't cover much. But like to get good health insurance to actually cover you, to feel like you're actually
just
insured.
Health insurance, one thing. Dental insurance, whole nother thing.
Yeah, that's just bro. That shit wild. That shit blows my mind. Like
two different
you
things.
should open up a dentist office.
Yeah,
that's the
you should. That's a fucking. That's the biggest scam in America. I feel like.
That or fucking,
put
or that or just sell
cap
insurance.
on your tooth that's going to cost $2,000 and it's going to fucking break in 5 years. So see you again in 5 years, pal.
Yeah. That or just start selling insurance. Fuck, those are the two biggest scams in the fucking country.
I mean, selling insurance is basically like selling a fucking ice to an Eskimo. Like you're selling dreams.
Yeah.
And when you're selling insurance.
Yeah, well, I mean, and then they don't pay out shit. I mean, look at all the insurance companies. It's like, yeah, I'm glad. Aren't you guys glad you have flood insurance? By the way, we're fucking out, dude. Like, good luck. Get a canoe and swim around.
Florida's insurance got fucking hit hard when also like the whole roofing shit. When a couple of years ago, everyone got a new roof. They had one loose shingle. Everyone got a new roof.
Yeah.
You have in reality probably like a $200, maybe $300 fix for a couple shingles. No, you need a whole new roof. $40,000. Boom. The insurance paid it out.
Yep.
And that happened to multiple houses.
It happened all over the United States, though. Not just
it did. It wasn't just Florida, but I'm just saying, like, Florida, I know it happened in Florida a lot, all over the United States, and that's what tanked Florida's insurance economy. Like, also the hurricane that fucking wiped out
Maria.
Huh?
Was it Hurricane Maria?
Is it Ian?
I don't know what fucking hurricane it was, but whatever that hit Tampa hard, a couple of different places that wiped out Florida's insurance. Like. Florida was like, fuck that.
Well, dude, Fort Myers alone took $50 billion.
Yeah.
They were Fort Myers alone.
Yeah, they were like, fuck that. We're not doing this shit no more.
I think it was like $50 billion. I think that was the number.
It was something crazy. But
this is why I can't pay attention to politics so much. This shit gets me depressed.
But it's not even just politics. It's like at the end of the day, like I said, it's follow the money. You'll see where it is, because insurance is based off the economy. It's based off money. Politics in reality is based off the economy. Is based off money.
Exactly.
And like people love to play devil's advocate. People love to think that it's like political issues, as in like, it's my body's rights, shit like that. People are so gun ho about like abortion rights and all that. That is not what in reality is swaying votes.
No,
you know,
I mean, like Zach was just saying,
people will die on that hill.
Yeah,
and kudos for you if you disagree. Or kudos to you if you agree. Nah, fuck you. If you agree with abortion rights, fuck you. It's if you disagree.
I'm not against abortion rights. I'm not necessarily for abortion, but like if somebody wants to get rid of a baby, that's on them. Whatever mental, I
feel like everyone should have their
trauma they need to go through. That's on them. But
you should have the right to decide what happens with your body.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I mean, do I agree with it? No, I don't think you should ever kill a baby, but it's not my call. If you want to do whatever is on you, that's on you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, there's always exceptions. Like, the mainstream talks. There's exceptions, with rape or, if the baby's going to come out and be mentally ill or deformed, or if it's going to potentially kill the mother during birth. Like, there's exceptions to it. But like, again,
but how many times have it killed the mother? And another random fucking off topic thing, C-sections, another random thing. C-sections are up like over 50%, like since the 1990s to now. There's almost half or more than half of the births are C-sections now.
Because it's easier, dude, and it's lower risk. And
C-sections weren't even a thing back in the day. Like, what do you mean? Why it's lower risk is because the hospitals are making so much more money just cutting a woman open and being like, oh, now you're gonna pay us for the surgery you had.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's easier to. It's easier to stitch up.
But it's not easier for a woman. It's not. They claim it's easier, but it's not. It's like that's just another money grab from
for sure
hospitals being like, oh, we're gonna just cut a woman open. We're gonna make twice as much money because boom, we just performed a surgery. So now they got to pay us for delivering their baby and the surgery, versus them just having a natural childbirth.
And this is why I think morality stuff needs to be left out of politics. Like we were just talking about this before.
Before we got on here, I'm like, social issues should never be a political talk. Like, if you want to have an abortion, cool. We don't need to talk about it.
Facts.
It's on you.
If you're gay or you are trans, cool. We don't need to talk about it.
It's on you.
If you're a shithead, I'm not gonna like you. If you're cool, I'm gonna like you. I don't care what you are, and that goes back to
or who you're doing.
My political decisions is based off finances. That's really it. Because at the end of the day, a lot of the talking points from both sides, like if you break them down, like everyone likes to have word salads and they fucking speak nice and they're like, you could literally be a very articulate person and tell people 2 + 2 = 5. And they're gonna be like, oh, that dude's so fucking intelligent. But it's like, at the end of the day, like a lot of the talking points too are constitutionally illegal.
Yeah.
From both sides, a lot of shit they say. Like you can't take away Social Security. That's not gonna happen. Like I really don't think when people are like, oh yeah, they're gonna ban certain people from owning certain shit because of the way they swing or whatever. It's like, you can't do that. That's constitutionally illegal. I was like, but you know what you can do? Raise taxes and fuck everybody.
Yeah, I don't know, because I was talking to somebody about it the other day. Like they were like talking about like the Trump being a convicted criminal at this point and all that shit, and like you're gonna vote for somebody that's gonna be that's a criminal, legally a criminal. I'm like, well, one, I don't know who I'm voting for yet, and two, like that doesn't really matter to me. Like if we really wanted to get down to it, we could probably convict a lot of these career politicians and they could all be criminals for the shit that you're
They could all sit in jail.
So it's like, and I know people who are convicted felons that are great people. They just had a shitty moment and that's it. Like that, the whole, like, again, trying to like the righteousness and the moral compass of people, especially in presidential stuff. It's like, that doesn't sway me one way or the other.
Here's the thing about saying presidents. They're like, oh, convicted felon, oh, that dude's a criminal, this and the other. Show me a president who's never dropped a bomb on another country and killed an innocent person. Because people always like to use Obama for like the fucking king of morality. It's like,
yep.
You mean the guy that leveled Syria and everybody in it?
Yep. Yeah, and that's why I'm like, I don't care. Like morality stuff doesn't bother.
Yeah, you're a criminal.
That doesn't sway me in as far as like, oh well, because they're a better person, or the optics of things, or like how things are perceived from like the public. It's like, bro, most of the public is fucking dumb as shit. Like, why am I gonna follow what they're doing? Like, they're part of the reason that
and
like
I only
we're
feel like
in
people
this.
use Obama as like a example because he's like the most recent president.
Well, I mean, listen, he was cool as shit. Like, you can't even lie. Like, he had a certain
He's a well-spoken person.
Yeah, like
he was well-spoken
on an optic perspective,
on an American soil. Fucking, he was a great speaker.
But that's what a lot of people
he did behind the scenes.
But that's what people want.
Senator, dude.
People do not care. That's the thing.
That's the definition of a career politician. The shit he did, you can't fucking undo.
Of course, but people don't care.
Exactly,
people want somebody. People want something that's pleasing to the eye. That's gonna represent and make us look good.
Speaker.
And that's what I've said about Donald Trump.
I didn't do anything bad. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. He was a great speaker. Everyone loved Obama, right? But you look at some of the things he's did, and it's like
it was shitty.
What the?
It was shitty. But that's what I've been saying this. I've said this to you about Donald Trump. Is that the thing with Donald Trump is that he is a reflection of what America is right now. And a lot of people, and taking this to a like more personal level, a lot of people do not like to be honest with themselves, don't like to look themselves in the mirror and take deep dives within themselves. So then when they see that, and that's what they see the representation of this country is, which is a great representation of what this country is right now as far as a whole. People don't like that, and people get mad, and like the same way that when you start talking to people about, you know, their shortcomings and where they can do better, immediately they get defensive. That is the same thing that's happening when you talk about Donald Trump. People will get defensive. That's not my president. He's this, he's that, whatever you want to say. But it's like, all right, well, now look at yourself. Tell me that you don't display and reflect some of those same traits. And then tell me, you know, who's really like, who's on the moral high ground.
I feel that way
now.
about both sides. When someone says that's not my president, I think
that's the dumbest shit.
I'm like,
ever.
oh my God.
Biden's our president.
Yeah. It's just like Trump was our president. Yep. Biden is now our president. Yep. It's like, listen, if you say that wasn't your president, you're a fucking idiot. because
Real
like
shit. And I
that's your
agree with that
president.
100%. It's like
Even
it doesn't
I don't
matter
care if you
whether
don't like him. Like you might not have liked Trump. That was your president. You might not like Biden. You might be a fucking diehard Republican. That is the president.
Yeah, but if you're
So shut the fuck
if you're a
up. That
citizen
is
of the
the
United
president.
States, like that is your president.
Like
To get
that's
out of
the
here with that
dumbest
fucking
shit. Like, oh, that's not our president. I'm not gonna listen to him. That doesn't affect our day to day life. And I think that's the biggest issue is that like the presidency doesn't affect most Americans. It might affect some people, but it doesn't affect most Americans' day to day lives. And that's the driving force behind a lot of people. They're like, oh, if it doesn't affect me, it doesn't matter to me. But like,
I think that's majority of people, man.
yeah, I feel like that's almost.
shit too.
I feel like that's almost everybody. But I feel like that's why I agree with you on the stand of, regardless of political party, Republican or Democrat, think about
Tea
how, the
Tea Party.
yeah, the Tea Party. No, but I was just saying, depending on like what you view, what you think about the economical standpoint, right? What's going to affect you every day on your day to day life? Whether it's taxes, whether it's, groceries, whether it's gas prices, whatever you think is going to lower your costs as an American citizen, vote that way. I don't know who it is. Do your own research. But that's who I would think to vote for, right? Someone who makes your everyday life a little better.
Yeah.
Vote for that person.
But I mean, that's the thing. Like I've talked to people that have like openly said that they felt like they've never been more scared because when Donald Trump was in office, because
when
Donald Trump.
that redheaded bastard.
when he was in office, like I've never been more scared to be a minority or a woman minority and all this shit. And I'm looking at him like, well, I'm a minority. I'm not a woman, but I didn't feel any more scared than I ever have in my life. Ever, like there was no more fear.
I feel like always. Also, people are just fucking overly sensitive for everything.
I think people just buy into
People
narratives and don't
people are just
necessarily look into. And
day.
again, like I'm someone that I'm not really like. I keep myself informed enough, but like I'm not like super involved in politics or keep myself like in that sphere. But like I mean, I'm a minority. I mean, I've been told growing up, I need to watch out for the cops. I need to watch out for this. I need to watch out for that. And literally, most bad situations that I've been in my life, besides a few, like I put myself in them. Like there's been a few that I was just wrong place, wrong time and shit like that. But like with cops, when I've been pulled over, the times that I've been pulled over and I was just speeding, all right, I'm chilling, like no big deal. And most of the time, like I go about my business. And not that I've never met a dickhead cop, but like if I meet somebody and I'm already at a disadvantage because they're in the position of power and I'm not. So why am I going to further provoke things by fucking being a smartass or doing this or any of that shit? And not to say that cops aren't assholes and they're not in the wrong. And I'm not trying to defend them, but it's like also like just as a person, like use common sense.
The one time me and you got in trouble by the cops one time when we were with Rachel and her friend. I mean, I was the one that got profiled. They let you guys sit over. That dude's back then has me into the car.
But even when I went up to Chicago that one time with you and we were taking shit out of the dumpster and breaking it and the cops came, like we just like, all right, well, yeah, we're just taking shit out of the dumpster and breaking it. They questioned us. I was out of town already, so like they didn't really fuck with me too much. But it's like and not to say that there's not issues. Like there's times that I'm not trying to mitigate that or say any of that shit. But all I'm saying is that most times, like you have a little bit more control over the situation than you realize. And if you keep yourself just calm, cool, collected, understand that you are not in the position of power in this situation, just fucking take the ticket. And they always give you the option to go to court and fight it.
Yeah.
And more times than not, those cops are not going to show up to court and fight that shit anyway. So like, I just don't understand why people get so like, this is why I think before you start, I think psychology needs to be a core class in like high school or something. Like take 4 years of that shit.
Too much sense, man.
I guess so.
He's said on this a lot of times.
It just makes sense to me because you deal with people literally every day of your fucking life. You deal with yourself every day. So why not have some type of like at least surface level knowledge of like how the human mind works? Because like there's not going to be a day in this world unless there's like a nuclear winter or there's a zombie apocalypse. They are not going to have to deal with people on a day-to-day basis. So not like, all right, I have basic understanding of math, science, history, and fucking whatever the fuck else. But I don't know how to deal with my own emotions or like handle myself in a high pressure situation. Like
I always tell people, I was like, everyone needs to learn sales, because every transaction in your life is a sales. It doesn't matter if you're just like, dude, I let Elena think, like, if I want to fucking go somewhere to eat and she argues, I let her think that where we're going is her idea. And we go to where I want to go 99% of the times, unless I don't give a fuck.
That reverse psychology.
Not even that. Or it's like, or
It's
like
just
when you talk
knowing
to
how
people,
to sell the things.
I mean, and it kind of goes with psychology, because like sales is psychology.
Yeah.
Best salespeople understand psychology, but like, and when people look at me and I say, "Oh, dude, that's you fucking capitalist," I'm like, "Well, no, dude, because every transaction in your life is a sales transaction." It's like, even us here, right? We're telling our point of views and we're giving facts of why we feel like maybe you should look that way.
Yeah.
It's okay if you don't, because not every sale ends in a close, but like, it's the same dialogue.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same dialogue.
And to go off also what you said, I mean, I'm not just saying like, cops are the greatest people, but think about like the situations they deal with. They're only being called on terrible situations.
Yeah. On a
You don't call a cop if you're having a great day.
You start doing that.
You call
Like,
a
just invite 'em over for pizza.
literally
Yeah.
not 911. I have an emergency. They show up. Here you go. This is for you, man. But like,
wanted to
I
give
had
you
a
a hug.
Swiss roll left over.
think
and
about
you
it.
just-
Cops are only being called on like the shittiest of shit situations.
Yeah.
Whether it be a robbery, a fucking, murder, a fucking. I mean, granted, traffic cops are some assholes.
Yeah.
We've all been pulled over for stupid shit. Seatbelt tickets. Fucking had
Red
someone.
light.
Yeah, red light tickets. That you are the fucking devil. But no, I'm talking about
It's their
actual-
fault for putting the light
yeah,
there, honestly.
I'm just talking about normal cops. Like red light tickets aren't necessarily cops. That's just like someone trying to make money off of you not fighting it. But
You ever try to fight a red light?
yeah, on
probably-
occasion,
That'd probably hurt your hands.
fight a red light. Actually go up there and box it.
Dude, first
Bro,
day I
those
moved
things
to
are-
New Smyrna, dude, this dude was fucking strung out, just boxing a stop sign and like going at it. I'm like, dude, that's who's gonna walk up with broken hands. I'm like,
Because
Good for
that's just a
him.
lot
Yeah.
bigger than you realize. Like
What?
those traffic lights are
Yeah,
fucking
traffic lights
huge.
they're big.
They
fucking
look
things.
tiny as fuck up there, but it's like you see
it's a big
one
thing.
is-
It's a big thing. It's hanging. It's a big thing.
and that's called derailing the conversation.
But that's called derailing. That's funny. But no, I'm just saying, like, cops never get fucking. And I mean, we've all dealt with asshole cops. I mean, I've had cops. I wouldn't say profile me, but like be fucking straight up dickheads. And I'm like, all right, listen. And I've also been not the greatest person when it comes to dealing with those situations. I'm an asshole as well. I'm like, oh, you're gonna act like a dick? I'll act like a dick. Fuck you.
Right back
And
at
then it's
you.
like back and forth, and it's like, all right, I'm not gonna lose. I'm gonna lose this battle, but I'm gonna lose this battle my way. So fuck you.
Yeah.
And I'll just go at it, and then, whatever. You end up in handcuffs. It's all.
I always,
It happens. But
whenever a
it's
cop
like,
comes up to the window, I'll just be so fake. I'm like, hey, officer, how's your day today? You're like,
Catch them off
Good.
guard.
yeah. See, like, and that's how you should be. Honestly, like, you should try to brighten up the situation.
Hey, kill
I'm
them with
not-
kindness.
I'm not the greatest with that. Like sometimes I'm like, why the fuck have you pulled me? Like, you know what? Why I pulled you over today? I was like, no. Why have you pulled me over?
No, I
today?
mean, most of the times I
Like,
know why I've been pulled over.
I'm
so I'm
clear
just
as
like,
day. I was speeding. Like, shut the fuck up.
just
Give me my
the
ticket already.
Yeah, honestly,
I'm
just
like,
give
come
me
on.
the ticket.
Sometimes I already have my shit ready. I'm like, you just go back there.
But also, what people, I mean, I feel like people also do need to like just know a little bit more about the law and their rights, because I feel like they don't know that, so that kind of puts people in a panic as well. Like with the Tyreek Hill situation, I know that was a little bit more recent, and like if you see the whole video, like I think the cops were more at fault and were a little over aggressive, but also like, bro, like just fucking roll down your fucking window. Or if not, like I've seen people just put their license and their registration right on the fucking window, just write me the fucking ticket and then be gone. That's it. Like, just like,
but also too,
That
like,
was-
when you, if I was a cop and someone did that, I would think they're hiding something.
right.
Like, dude,
right.
like-
Because you're so, like, that's just how you're trained to. And like people that usually have something to hide don't want to give up information. They're like
Yeah.
trying to, so like naturally you'll feel like
and
that.
I realize that, like, I mean, fuck, dude. Like, I remember when I was in Chicago, like, I didn't have a concealed carry license, right? But like, I'm not gonna be without a gun in fucking Chicago. So I used
Yeah.
to carry my gun illegal in my car all the time. Whenever a fucking cop pulled me over, dude, I did everything right because I'm like, I do not want to search this car because I will be going to prison.
Yeah. Right. So like
So
it
it's
just
like-
makes, but like as a kid, you think like that, like, and especially you know, you have a kid, so like you can kind of tell like when they're trying to hide something or like they're being a little like
she sucks.
yeah, it's like you can kind of tell like, and like there's signs now. Like as an adult, like you might just it kind of turns more into like, well, I'm grown, like I don't have to fucking listen to you. It comes more into a pride thing, but like again, there's still those tells of like, all right, well they're doing this, like. Why aren't you like, if you didn't have anything to hide, you would be a little bit more cooperative, or like if you didn't really have any, like if you weren't doing anything wrong, you would just like take this ticket and go about your day.
Psychology,
bro. Oh my god, like it just like people fucking.
You got him now. You got him now.
the conversation.
It just like it just blows my mind how like we get pounded, you know, as far as like people like in kindergarten, first grade, like respect others, treat people, you know, how you want to be treated.
That has
like
a different meaning
those. Bro,
they get pounded differently.
Yeah, they do. But like, you know, you get these, you get taught these things, and like they get beat into your brain, and then as you get older, you just kind of like, all right, well, I've paid my dues. I don't have to fucking listen to this shit anymore. Like I could do whatever the fuck I want and just kind of talk to people however I want. It's like, no, you're an adult. Like you should know better than to just fucking be a dickhead. Like if someone's being a dickhead to you, how are you gonna react? All right, so like if you're being a dickhead to someone, how do you think they're gonna react? Not in the best way. So like,
I mean, I did get pulled over going 27 and a 25 at Winter Springs one time, and I was late for work, and that did piss me.
Winter Springs is fucking they're like, but in areas like that, like they have nothing better to do.
Go watch some fucking Netflix or something, dude. Go waste my tax dollars instead of pulling me over, dude.
Trust me, I mean that's Winter Springs cops, like cops in areas like that are fucking annoying. Like they are like they
bored,
yeah. They need,
like,
they need
to being a cop in Beverly Hills. What the fuck do you do all day?
Nothing. Sit around and twiddle your
I've watched
thumbs.
this light turn green 18 times today. It's great,
bro. That shit is fucking This world's a wild place. I'm glad I'm so like relaxed and don't care about much, because if I had high anxiety and fucking cared about everything, I probably would have offed myself like fucking a while ago. Listen, I just don't like. People who function with high anxiety like on a daily basis is fucking wild to me. Like just anxious at all times. It's like, how do you live life?
I'm gonna get shit for this. I already know, because like anxiety, there are some people that have such bad clinical anxiety that there's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
But the average person that claims they have anxiety,
it's self-induced.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. This is what I see with all of them. Because like I talk to all my loved ones this way, because like you gotta play devil's advocate a lot. I like to get to the root of everything, because you usually can. And what causes their anxiety is there's shit you can control and you can't control. They put all the fucking eggs in the basket of the shit they can't control, and the stuff they can control, they just put it to the wayside, and then they don't pay attention to it until something becomes a problem in that realm, and then you are fucked. Because it's like, damn, I could have controlled this. Now like I'm so stressed about this, but now this actually moves the needle.
God damn.
Fucked up.
Jeez. Like it makes sense. That shit fucking.
But anxiety, what it does, I know what it does chemically in your brain is it makes you think what you think is happening is happening.
Yeah.
So like I get it. So like I wouldn't say I'm empathetic, because I definitely lack a lot of
You
empathy.
at least sympathize. Yeah, you sympathize.
Well, and that's the thing. Like a couple of years ago, like I think it's probably like 2.5 years now. Like that's probably like where I was at my most anxious that I've ever been in my life.
Right.
And that's what really made me realize that it's like, oh shit, like.
I'm a bitch. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but like it's like
how to do it.
Like I've already been a
Beat my
person.
ass for crying.
I've already been a person that's like I'm gonna pay attention to the things that I can control, and the things that I can't. Like obviously I'll pay attention to it, but I'm not gonna fucking like stress out about it. You know, when there was a lot of shit going on, I had a lot of shit on my plate at one time. Like it kind of made you think about like the things that you can't control, and like starting to like how like. It put myself in the spot of the anxious person. So I'm like, oh shit, like I can see how like this fucking sucks, but like I can also see how like easily fixable these things are. Like if you like actively take an active approach to like understand what your problems is, what the problems that you can control and what you can't control, like you were saying, like your anxiety will probably get cut in half, and then you can start working from there. But like if you don't even give it that fair chance, then you're just setting yourself up for failure, and you're just looking for people to feel bad for you, and you're just looking for the woe is me shit. And like I can deal with that for a certain amount of time, but then at a certain point I'm just be like, you're doing it to yourself. Like you're just being a big bitch, and you need to get over it. Like I don't know what else you want me to tell you. I've tried to give you all this advice beforehand. I've tried to help you out, try to give you solutions, try to give you a hug because that's what you wanted and that didn't. So like, all right, like now you just got to figure this shit out or this is just your life's going to be.
Those are the worst people when they ask you for advice, not just once, but plenty of times. You give it to them and they totally ignore it and they come back to you the same thing. And it gets to the point, like you said, it's like, all right, dude, I got one last solution. Blow your fucking head off. I don't know
real,
what to
it's
tell
like, I
you,
don't know
dude.
what else you want me to fucking do, bro.
Yeah,
like,
dude, I-4, there's plenty of drivers that will literally take you out without knowing they did it. Just walk out in the middle, dude. You won't, I promise you won't have no anxiety at that point.
Shit, bro.
Just lay down.
That
Probably
shit
not
is
have legs
wild.
either, but you'll be good.
Just lay down.
Good.
Bro, people are fucking. People piss
cause
me
themselves
off.
a lot of issues because they. I mean, I get that some people overthink. I get that.
Again, like he said, like there's outliers to it. Like there's people that just are like they have chemical imbalance in
yeah,
them.
they're wired that
Exactly.
way.
Yeah, or like brain injuries can cause it.
Or something happens that is out of your control. That is like again the out of control thing. That is like you can't really do much about, and you just kind of have to deal
That's
with
not the majority of people think I do.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It is a lot of people, and I think a lot of it is, just kind of played into what the narratives are today as far as like, self-care, treat yourself, do these things, care about yourself, but also understand like there's also a lot of satisfaction in doing things outward, helping people. That, releases dopamines and things in your head that the happy chemicals in your head. Being active, working out, doing something besides laying in your bed and scrolling on your phone all day or like just doing the monotonous, coming home or waking up, going to work, coming home and then doing the same thing. Like you need outlets. Yeah. And a lot of people just won't. And it's like, okay, well, like, then what? Like, it's not like I'm asking you to do the impossible. I'm just asking you to find a hobby. Find something you like.
The funniest anxious thing that people that happens to people is like they'll be like, man, I think so and so fucking just hates me. Okay, and that same person will be like, yeah, I think so and so hates me. I'm like, you guys talked? No, because I think they hate me. I'm like, that's step one. Because you guys might laugh about it and be like, oh no, we're good.
I mean,
like,
prime example. I used to think he didn't like me, and then we lived together. But like, it wasn't like it was causing me stress. But I just didn't think he liked me, and then we lived with each other, and we're fucking best friends. There's been
I thought you hated me. I was like, I've never fucking had a problem with you in my life.
I mean, we know people. I mean, we know people within our group that is like, all right, like
this is new information to me.
Yeah, it's like, why don't like you guys are having an issue? Like, have you guys talked about it to each other yet? Like, no, I'm waiting for the other person to reach out to me. I'm like, okay, well.
Some people it makes it really anxious, especially in like school years, because you're forced to be around them.
Yeah,
and I do it all the time. It's like I do it with my mom. I do it with Chloe. I even think to myself sometimes. I'm like, well, actually, yeah, I probably should ask him. And right. But what's crazy, dude, is like that seems like such a simple answer. Because like, for example, Lane will be like, I think so-and-so hates me. It's like, oh, just fucking text her and ask her. And she's like, what? I'm like,
it's like a foreign concept.
Just ask her. And she's like, isn't that weird? I was like, no, it's not weird. It's called communication. And that's how things get done. Because I don't know sign language and I don't communicate telepathically. If you can do that, teach me.
For real, teach me your ways.
But yeah, it's like, it's such a big concept that I should use my words.
Yeah. Right. And everybody wants to harp on, communication is key. Like, that's how you build stronger relationships. But then nobody wants to talk about shit.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to talk.
Every issue that ever arises is communication based.
Yeah.
And I will literally argue with someone because someone's like, what about wars? It's because they think their religion's better than their religion.
Facts.
And if they talk about it, they'll realize
it's all the same shit.
Yeah, stupid. Or like, oh, well, so-and-so is friends with so-and-so, and I don't like so-and-so. That's great. So so-and-so is not the other person. Maybe you should talk to them.
Oh, my God. Bro, we should just run the world. I think we can figure it out. It can't be that hard.
I don't know, man. I believe in the death penalty. I don't think people are like that.
I mean, I guess it depends for what the crime is. It depends on the crime is. That's the thing. People are so like...
Dude, if you blew someone's head off for stealing, there probably wouldn't be anybody stealing. Okay, I'm not saying to do that. That'd be fucked.
Cut people's hands off, that whole eye for an eye type thing.
People like to talk about people have no rights in Saudi Arabia. There's also no crime there. Like, dude, what happened to Johnny? Dude, he lost both his hands. Fucking took the double bubble, dude.
He didn't want to pay the 50 cents for the gum and just fucking lost his hands for it.
Off, dude. Now you can never feel gum again.
Oh, man. Cruel
He has to
world.
eat it off the floor.
Why is it?
Try to see him unwrap something.
Get some nubs for hands. Yeah, but then now with AI, you give him some artificial hands like fucking Jedi,
I'm
Anakin
waiting for it,
Skywalker
man.
shit.
If robot arms and legs work better than mine, I might cut my legs off.
Hey, fuck, you'll see a
don't know
rise in
about
people
that,
just
but
fucking cutting their legs off and
those
shit,
kinda
getting into
injuries.
crippling leg accidents.
Yeah, dude, I'm a lot faster than you. Check this out. I have to change my sport mode on my fucking remote.
Poor little tick.
I just installed wings yesterday. It's cool, man. Check out this backpack.
Like a fly.
Shit. Well, we're about an hour and 20 into this.
Wow.
Got any last words, anybody? Anything that you want to leave off with? Leave the audience with some wise thoughts or just some ignorant shit?
Yeah, before you're any political issues, drink some Crown. Think about it.
There you go. Or smoke some weed. Maybe take some psychedelics. Listen, also, side note, maybe if people just start doing more fucking psychedelics, this world would be a lot better.
More of a chill place, probably.
For real shit. It's like, do you know what? All this shit really doesn't matter, man. We all just need to love each other and you know, just help each other out.
How can I commit crimes when my feet are literally melted into the ground right now? This doesn't even make sense. Who did this?
I'm infused with my couch. There's no way I can get
I'm
up and do
infused with my couch.
My couch is my back.
We are one.
With me.
Shit. Well, Zach, I appreciate you. Hopefully we don't wait a year to do another podcast, but
I'm always hit me up, man. Always available.
word. Jacob, I got nothing to say to you.
Weeks,
I have nothing to say to you.
haven't seen him in a couple weeks. It's like, oh.
And that's 198 in the books. Everybody love everybody. Deuces.
Peace.